What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I am bringing you a showcase of my newest rank 3 7-star Nightcrawler. Thankfully, I was able to get a sponsorship from Marvel Strike Force that allowed me to pick up a Nightcrawler early. Typically, you pick up the runestones over the course of the Saga event, and you would be able to get him for free, but because of my sponsorship, I was able to pick up some early, and I was able to get him like 2 months earlier than most people. Some people already have him and already have him awakened, which I think is bonkers. I literally just got him maybe last week, so I picked them up a bit early, but yeah, I wouldn't have done it without the sponsorship, but that's not the point of this video. This video is not sponsored. This is a showcase video of my 5th rank 3 7-star. So we're going to start off here with a Realm of Legends Winter Soldier takedown. I believe I have the Professor X synergy in this video, in this clip specifically, but that is the only time I have it until the end of the video. So all of the Battlegrounds stuff, of course, no synergies are involved in Battlegrounds, so you won't be seeing any Professor X synergy increase in those fights. But this is just a Winter Soldier fight, 550,000 health, just Professor X and Nightcrawler on the team. The name of the game here is you want to use a special one to start the fight, and then if you can, dex as much as possible to build up your passive prowess from dexterity, and then rip a massive special 2. And that's Winter Soldier down in 36 seconds. No boosts, 1 synergy. Solid stuff. So let's move on to the main showcase here. We have some Battlegrounds fights. This is a rank 2 7-star kindred in the X Magicka meta. I just recorded these fights this morning. One thing that I don't love about Nightcrawler is how well-timed blocks still trigger the evade. It can kind of mess things up, so maybe I'm going to send in a request to see if I can get that changed, because it would be a nice thing to change for the offensive uses of Nightcrawler. But this is a rank 2 7-star kindred. He is not immune to bleed. It's one of the only immunities kindred does not have, is immunity to bleed. He's very diverse in his immunity kit and stops a lot of characters from working, but he does not stop Nightcrawler. So as you can see here, I'm going for the special 1 to start. I was going to go for a special 2, but because we're dealing so much damage, I decided to just go for another special 1. We're rooted now, so I just have to survive the root. We get out of the special 2, we hit him one more time, and that's a rank 2 7-star kindred down in 40-ish seconds? The exact time was 49 seconds. Yeah, so 50,000 points. That's going to be a constant with Nightcrawler. He's very fast, he's very speedy, and even in matchups where you can't bleed the opponent and you're just reliant on that critical damage, you're still going to see some very solid numbers. So this is a 7-star rank 2 Photon. Some of you might be saying, oh, it's an unawakened Photon, it's not as difficult. And you're right, it wouldn't be as difficult if it were a different character. But Nightcrawler doesn't care, because he can dex Photon specials in pure light form, regardless of the awakened ability or not. So this is just what a 7-star rank 2 Photon would look like in the Gladiator Circuit meta. All of these fights are in the Gladiator Circuit meta, the X Magicka power play node set. So we're dexing the specials here. Again, she's not in pure light form, so we don't have to worry about the dexterity being turned off right now. I'm going for some special 1s. I think in the bleed immune matchups, it's best to just spam special 1. You get the most return on damage for the least amount of power. Just taking her down here, going for some intercepts. Building up those precisions really helps the critical damage, and it helps these bleed immune matchups feel less unideal, I guess I would say, because you want to be using him in matchups where you can bleed the opponent, but even when you can't, that was a nearly 50,000 score against a rank 2 7-star Photon, so he is an option for Photon. He's not a nuke for Photon, but he definitely works, and he is a champion that you can use and have a relative level of safety when fighting Photon. So this is a rank 2 7-star Titania. If you've noticed, I'm just fighting my alt account, who is essentially at the level of my main account, if we're being honest. Just fighting all my alt account defenders. I have quite a few solid ones, so it made sense to do this showcase using Miker. So rank 2 7-star Titania, just kind of a meat shield showcase. She's not that threatening of a defender, and I just wanted to show off how he does in kind of a long health matchup. 300,000 health, nothing to scoff at, and can definitely trip some people up just based on the time it takes to take her down. But Nightcrawler will absolutely shred this fight. You're going to see here, I go for a special 2 right after I sidestep her medium, and that's a rank 2 7-star Titania down in less than 50 seconds. That's a 40-second fight, 51,000 points, 100% health, absolute domination. This is my favorite fight of the entire showcase here. This rank 3 7-star America Chavez, 300,000 health on this Chavez as well, so similar to the Titania. But Chavez, unlike Titania, is actually a threatening defender. If she's not willing to play ball, she goes to special 2. Things can go from bad to terrible. The good thing about Nightcrawler is if you know how to dex special attacks and you're familiar with his vulnerability window, so the extension of the dexterity in vulnerability, you can do things like this. And you can dex Chavez's special too, no problem. The main reason I ranked up Nightcrawler is how accessible he is if you know how to use his invulnerability dex to your advantage. You can use him in so many different matchups because you don't get punished for not being able to dex the special attack. Whether it be Photon, Chavez, or whatever the case may be, you do not get punished. So it's one of my favorite things about Nightcrawler, and it's one of the main reasons I took him to rank 3. So you might be asking yourself, Shuri? Why Shuri? Nightcrawler is actually pretty okay for Shuri. But the clause in his ability that states his bleed potency goes down for each armor buff on the opponent, it's armor buff, it's not armor passive. So rank 2 7-star Shuri with Nightcrawler, it's actually a pretty fast fight, all things considered. Not being an ideal matchup, having class disadvantage, Nightcrawler handles this fight beautifully. And you'll see again, utilizing that extended dexterity window, dexing Shuri's special 2 and punishing it without any problem. Now, Shuri's special 2 can be full dexed without the invulnerability window, but Nightcrawler adds the level of safety that almost no other character can do. You know, like Quicksilver has it when he has his terminal velocity, but not many other characters have that invulnerability window like Nightcrawler. So there's a full special 2 dex there. We're just trying to get an opening here, go for a special 2, and even with all the armor reducing the critical damage, Nightcrawler still takes Shuri down in 60 seconds flat. So class disadvantage, rank 2 7-star. No problem. We have a rank 5 Ascended Dr. Doom here. Not an ideal matchup for Nightcrawler, but because he can increase his own natural critical rating, he does handle this quite well. Now, that sidestep there was semi-unintentional. I wasn't exactly going for a sidestep, but because Nightcrawler has such great light reach, it just ends up working out. And I think that's something that utilizing in future matchups will be very helpful. Just making sure you have a solid understanding of spacing so you can utilize his light reach to get sidesteps and certain counterattacks against certain characters. So we're just dexing the special 2 here. Again, super easy with Nightcrawler. It's a fairly simple dex to begin with, but with Nightcrawler it just becomes even easier. Unfortunately, no crits on the special 2. That is one of the issues with Dr. Doom when using Nightcrawler. That critical resistance, it can bump in at the worst time, and of course you want the special 2 to crit, but it doesn't matter because we're less than 60 seconds into this Ascended rank 5 Doom and he is gone. 53 seconds, nearly 100% health. That's what you like to see when it comes to Nightcrawler. This fight is just hilarious. This is a rank 5 Ascended Baron Zemo, and it's silly how fast this fight is. If you have solid crit RNG with Nightcrawler and class advantage, there's no stopping him. He will literally run through defenders. Like, he can take Korg. I wish I had a Korg to showcase. He's probably okay for a Tuma, just because he's critting so much, especially if the champion is not immune to bleed. He can just do stuff like this. We're 30 seconds into this fight, and Zemo is dead. He's just dead. It's gone. That special one didn't even crit, but he's gone. 32-second fight. Rank 5 Ascended Baron Zemo. Absolutely insane. Now, this fight is not an ideal matchup, but he can work for it. This is a rank 2 7-star Bullseye. It's very tough to get this matchup to go well, especially in the Ex Magica meta, but Nightcrawler can do it. It's not pretty. It's not the best score you're going to see against a Bullseye. You know, it's nowhere near Sunspot, CGR, Onslaught, Bishop. He's not going to be rivaling those characters when it comes to taking down Bullseye, but if you need to use him in a pinch, he definitely can work. One thing I probably should have done is gone for more medium attacks, because that will increase my critical rating, and that means I'm dealing more damage with less hits. So I'm giving him less power and dealing more damage with the hits that I'm dealing. I should have been doing that at the start of the fight. Probably would have sped things up a little bit, but Bullseye is just a nasty defender. Any way you slice it, unless you have an ideal counter. So it's totally fine that I didn't do that because it really didn't impact the fight too much. I'm just trying to go for the kill here. And if that would have crit, it would have killed him, but I just kind of have to wait it out and take a heavy attack resist to the face, and then we finish him with a special one. If that special one prior would have crit, it probably would have been a more like 46k points instead of 45, but still not the most ideal matchup, and Nightcrawler still handles it. So we're going to finish off this showcase here with some Winter of Woe fights. We have the Aegon, Danny Moonstar, and Hulkling fights from Winter of Woe. I decided not to show off what's-his-face Spider-Ham because anybody can technically do Spider-Ham. I don't know why the quality on this is so atrocious. Yeah, maybe it's just loading in, but the quality should not be that bad. It seems to be fixing itself, but if it doesn't, maybe I'll just go to the original recording. But regardless, Nightcrawler is not the ideal counter for really any of these matchups, maybe aside from Danny Moonstar, but he does work. This Aegon fight is pretty tough because there's a lot of timers going on. There's a lot of mechanics that you need to pull off, like landing a heavy attack after he throws a special, and some things like that. But Nightcrawler is able to handle it fairly well. You see that I'm going for a medium into a ricochet, and that's a constant with Nightcrawler. He has the ability to do that, and it's almost 100% reliable. There are some characters where if you wouldn't be able to land it with Nightcrawler, you wouldn't be able to land it with other characters, so like Morningstar or Cable, champs like that that have the more forward-reaching medium attack. You wouldn't be able to land it against them regardless. But Nightcrawler has the light reach and the medium dash to where he's able to land those ricochets, and you can completely take advantage of that in certain matchups like this. Now, it is sometimes spacing dependent, so you don't want to be too close, and you don't want your dash back to be too shallow. So there's a technique and a finesse to it, but you play Nightcrawler, and if you're familiar with the ricochet, you should have no problem taking advantage of it. Utilizing that light reach, again, I just love the length and consistency of his light reach. It is probably one of my favorites in the game. I never really realized how good it was until I ranked up Nightcrawler and started using him. But now that I have him up at rank 3 as a 7-star, it's just fantastic. It's so nice. It's been such a joy to use, and I've seen the benefit from it in so many different matchups. So if you guys would like to see me try and awaken my Nightcrawler here, that is something I can consider doing. It's not a priority, but maybe if people, send over some crowdfunding, some super chats, and they want to see Nightcrawler get awakened because he is rank 3, that is something I would consider. Or if I get another sponsorship deal and that pays for it, I believe it would cost me $170 to awaken Nightcrawler, which is, that's a steep amount. That is not a throwaway amount at all. So if that's something that people want to see, I can definitely consider it. Let me know down in the comments below if you do want to see me awaken Nightcrawler. His awaken ability is nice to have, but it is nowhere near necessary for utilizing him. As you can see, in this showcase, in the Battlegrounds fights, he doesn't need the dupe for speed. He has all that speed, all that damage unawakened. The awaken ability just adds on top of it. So some fights would be finishing a little bit quicker, but it doesn't really matter because the rank 3 7-star power level is so strong that it really doesn't come into play that much. So if you want to see me try and awaken Nightcrawler, let me know down in the comments below. I can definitely consider that. Maybe reach out to some sponsors, do some more live streams, and then we can make that happen. So that is something to consider. But I am perfectly fine having him unawakened for the time being. I have been more than impressed with his damage output, his utility, all of it. I'm running out of words to say because he's just so great. It's kind of like falling in love with a character again because he just got buffed, right? So he's essentially a brand new champion. And I never had Nightcrawler at any usable rank prior to his buff. So then learning about the buff, seeing some gameplay, and then getting my hands on him and testing him out in a plethora of different matchups, I just love him so much. He's so fun to use, and he rewards skillful gameplay, not only in the dexing department, but in the intercepting department, and your management of timers. That's something that I consider myself to be very good at. So it just makes sense for me to want to rank up Nightcrawler because he's the perfect character for me to invest in because he's only going to get better over time with more ranks, and I am only going to get better over time. So having a character that benefits in more than one way by me getting better and Nightcrawler getting better with more damage, it just makes sense to invest in him, and that is exactly what I decided to do. So we're finishing up this Danny Moonstar here. Again, this is not like a, oh wow, look, he's the best option for Winter of Woe. It's just to show off that, yeah, he can do these fights, and he's pretty okay for them. Having that extra safety net of the invulnerability window from his dex for Danny's special 2 is a nice thing to have. Just even more safety. I know how to dex it, but with Nightcrawler, it just becomes child's play because you essentially can't get hit. You can just spam dash back and dex the special 2 if you really wanted to, but you know, I'm not about that life. I like to dex it the way it's intended to be dexed. Finishing up this Danny here, and then we have the hulking fight, and then that is going to do it for the video. Again, I'm sorry for the quality not being grand here. It should have been a lot clearer like in the Battlegrounds fights. I'm not really sure why this quality decided to take take a dive, but yeah, my sincerest apologies. At least it's still visible, you know, it's just a little grainy, but you know, you come to expect that when you watch my live streams and whatnot. I don't have crystal clear quality. It's good, but it's not great. Final fight here, we have the Hulkling, just a very generic, easy fight for a hero champion, and Nightcrawler is a hero champion, so he gets the superiority, which means he can get the stun after throwing a special into his block. The evade mode saved me there. I went for a intercept, and Hulkling beat me to the punch, so the evade mode saved me. We were able to switch modes by ending on a light attack, if you didn't know. Nightcrawler does not need to dash back and hold block anymore to switch his modes. He just needs to end a combo on a 4th light attack, and you switch to your swashbuckling mode. I don't know how to say the word for his blue mode. I just call it the evade mode. So, yeah, I'm not going to even attempt that. But as you can see, just like the original Winter of Woe Hulkling, you just do the strat, you know, hit into block and all that, and Hulkling goes down. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had an absolute blast making it. I love Nightcrawler. I cannot wait to use him in more content. Battlegrounds, Winter of Woe style content, more act content, story stuff, side quests, you know, other special content that comes out. I am so excited to use him. He has become one of my favorite mutants in the game. I have fallen back in love with the character. I used to love him because of his dexterity window, and then I kind of forgot about his existence, but now that he's buffed and now that he's actually useful, he's worth investing resources into. Yeah, I absolutely love him, and the more and more I talk about him, the more and more I do think I might try and awaken him from the web store, and also the additional tokens we get from the Saga event itself. So again, if that's something you guys want to see, and that's a heavy interest, please let me know. I can consider it. I can reach out to some sponsors, see if we can make stuff happen. But if not, totally fine. Keeping him unawakened, he is stellar regardless. We're coming to the end of this fight here. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already, and please do yourself a favor and hit the bell for notifications. We just crossed 30,000 subscribers recently, and we're on the way to hitting 31,000. So my goal would be, by the end of the summer, be at around 35,000 subscribers, and at this pace, I feel like we're very close to hitting that number. So, like I said, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I just genuinely appreciate you all very much. Take care, stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.